Hello guys, some guy who ranks stuff here, and the stuff I'm gonna rank today is a random tier list I found on Tiermaker, which is, well, different video game consoles, which is made by World in Grey Inc. So all credit to him for the template here, him or her. So if you've seen my past videos, I'm obviously very into video games, but also especially Nintendo games. So just saying on beforehand that the Nintendo consoles will probably be dominating a lot here. But I'll try to explain my choices, and I've changed a little bit on the different. Well, I think I only changed the bottom here, the F tier, which is forgettable. It was only forgettable, but I also added haven't tried enough because I haven't played all consoles here, and it's difficult to rank the different consoles that I haven't really played that much. So I wanted to create a place for those consoles as well. Like, for example, the Xbox Series XS, not sure. Haven't tried at all, actually. I don't think I've ever tried any of the new series, so to speak. So I can't say much about it. The Dreamcast I've played like barely, I think, but I can't really make up my opinion on it. I think I mentioned in some previous video here. I think I have said it like recently, but I just can't remember if I said it in a video here on this channel or somewhere else. Um, I thought the Dreamcast had. I just want to correct myself. I thought that the Dreamcast was part of the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox generation, but apparently it belonged to the generation before that with the N64, the PlayStation and stuff. So because I was criticizing the controller. Oh yeah, I think it was the controller I was criticizing because it only had one of these analog sticks, which I thought was a weird choice when the competition had two on every controller. But it turned out that just like the N64 from the same generation, it only had one. So I was being a bit unfair because I didn't really know which generation it belonged to. Uh, but I really haven't played it enough to say much about it, honestly. I think this is the PSP. The Vita's over here, so yeah. So the PSP I've played like two games for, maybe. It's not like objectively, it's it's not at all an obscure console or a handheld system. Not sure why it says nostalgic with like an A and U here, but I'll if there's any difference, I'm not sure even either way. But I'll put nostalgic. I like a friend of mine has or had a PSP back in the day, and I played this Naruto game for it quite a bit, and I got really good at it. So I think I've played it just enough to rank it above the F tier, which isn't meant to be just for the bad consoles, but also those that I just haven't played enough. Um, I don't remember what other games I played for it, but especially this one fighting game, this Naruto game that I really enjoyed. And it felt like a really good handle system, to be honest. Now, the Xbox 360 is a different story. I mean, it's really memorable to many. It's probably a favorite to many people as well. I like the games I played most for Xbox is actually Guitar Hero, which could have been on either console. Um, Wherever you play it, it's basically the same. So my experience with Xbox 360 isn't really that interesting, but I have played some other games like I did play Bioshock when I first made a playthrough of that. I did play it on Xbox 360 and also Portal, and of course I played South Park: The Stick of Truth on Xbox 360, which was a lot of fun. Of course, it's a great console. I wouldn't like how I would compare it to like PS3. I'm not really that sure. Oh no, wait. This isn't the Xbox 360. This is the Xbox One. No, wait. What? There's another one over here, which is that's definitely a 360. but there's also, that's the Kinect, I guess. It's kind of hard to really distinguish all these. I think the pictures are bad with the circles. It should have been, the whole console. But it really looks like the 360 controller here, doesn't it? What is this version then if it's not? Because this is the 360. Looks like a 1. Jeez, this got confusing to me. But either way, I think the 360 is at least noteworthy, but I'll put it in memorable. It's a very memorable console, and to me, it's actually more memorable than the PS3. So I see there are different, revised consoles here. So we have the PS3 Slim here and the original one. Now the thing is that I understand that the original one, it's bigger. I think it's kind of like the design of it is maybe weirder or just more impractical than the Slim version, but this one had backwards compatibility. So I'll put this one in memorable and the Slim in noteworthy. It was a great console. It was really expensive in the beginning, but I have played like FIFA games, Gran Turismo, and some other junk. Not when it comes to PlayStation, I'm much more familiar with PS2 and especially PS1. So I'll get to those later here. So like this is a revised Game Boy Advance, the SP, but I mean I wasn't too fond of it going back to like this Game Boy style with the really cramped up button layout. Like the Game Boy Advance itself, I did like how you had the buttons on each side of the screen, so I thought that was really cool. But I mean, many people really like the Game Boy Advance. I do too, but it sort of lacked, to me anyway, the really special games. It didn't have an original Mario game. It only had like these remakes or remasters or just ports of previous Mario games. It had the Minish Cap, which is a Zelda game I do enjoy and love. But like, it wasn't my favorite. I think it's noteworthy, but I do think I'll put the SP above just because of the backlight screen or the light behind the screen anyway, because that was so relieving, I guess. It was amazing to have just the screen lit up so you could actually see something. It's so hard to go back to the original one now. It really is hard. The screen is so dark compared to the SP version. Though it had great Pokemon games, though. I think Ruby and Sapphire were great games. The DS Lite, I can't see the original DS here, which is really weird. I think I do enjoy the 3DS more, I think, but it's still really memorable. And the Lite version, I think, feels better than the original version. I only had the Lite one, but I had played and tried the original one at a friend's house, the same one with the PSP. It having backwards compatibility with Game Boy Advance games was great. The screens worked really well, and it had a lot of great games, I think. But I'll just look around here and find I think there were the two 3DSs here. So the 3DS is to me beloved, and also the XL. The thing is that I have both. I have like the blue one of the original, and then I have the Link Between Worlds special edition for the 3DS XL. And the thing is that the original one, the L and R buttons got kind of lost its functionality, lost its after a while, which was a huge problem when I played Luigi's Mansion 2, Dark Moon, because the R button wouldn't work properly, which is some of the reason why I got the XL version, because I wanted to. First of all, I really wanted A Link Between Worlds, but thought I might as well just get a new one, so that I actually have an L and R button that work. The thing is that I think it's tougher for me, at least for my eyes, to use the 3D function, even though it's not that notable anymore, at least. It was kind of a cool feature, and to go back to games like Ocarina of Time 3D, the 3D in those games, the effect is actually really good. When you use the slider on the screen there, you can see it goes so deep. It's so clear. A lot of effort was put into the 3D, which I think was really cool. I did notice in later games that the 3D didn't really do that much, but going back to Ocarina of Time, as I mentioned, was actually really cool to see. Both systems have amazing games, I gotta say. Both Zelda and Mario games. It's been really good. A good time playing those consoles or handheld systems. I just don't know what this is, to be honest. It looks like the 360 controller and an Xbox One console, but I can't tell. Please help me in the comments. I can't do anything about it right now, but let me know if you recognize these. Sega Genesis, I just haven't played enough. Can't say much about it, to be honest. PlayStation 2, it does have a lot of great exclusives, but not a whole lot of great exclusives that I enjoy that much. But the third-party games, that's mostly what I played it for, third-party games. Like, I did play like Gran Turismo here as well, and I especially did that on the PlayStation 1, but like, I never played that much of. I didn't play God of War, even though I kind of want to. Like Jak and Daxter or Ratchet and Clank. Even new Spyro games, Crash Bandicoot. Never played those that much. I usually just played most for games like 007 Nightfire and FIFA and what was it again? I just had a couple more games in mind. Need for Speed games, of course, Underground especially. Play those a lot. So, yeah, beloved, not entirely, but memorable at least. The PS Slim is no different, even though, yeah, I don't have much to say about like the differences between these two. They were really similar, I think. Yeah, I think so. So the original Xbox I've played somewhat, and it's kind of nostalgic. I played that one a little more than these down here. Like the original Halo games, I did play. Like FIFA Street, which was also on PS2. I did play it on Xbox at some point as well. So yeah, I think that's a good placement for those systems. So the Nintendo Wii, it's kind of a weird console for me. It's definitely memorable. It's not that beloved anymore, to be honest. The Wii U is actually really memorable to me, but maybe it's only noteworthy. This is difficult. I have Nintendo Wii. I loved it a lot. I actually think I enjoyed the generation of Wii U even more than the Wii. I think the Wii U has some greater games, like on Wii we had Super Mario Galaxy, Skyward Sword, games like that, but the Wii U had games like we had the remakes or remasters of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, which are both games I enjoy more than Skyward Sword. But of course the Wii had Twilight Princess as well, so that point is actually not that valid. But Super Mario 3D World was great. Mario Kart 8 was amazing. Super Mario Maker I really enjoyed. I think it's at least memorable. It's kind of beloved, but I know the system isn't really that great that I want like as much as I wanted it to be. So that's kind of sucks. And the PS4 to me is noteworthy. It's kind of like the PS3, but hmm, noteworthy, memorable. Yeah, I haven't played that much PS4. Yeah, I think it's noteworthy. Um, like the games I played for that system, once again, isn't it's not much exclusives. It's mostly the FIFA games as well over here as well. And I actually don't remember that many games, so it's a powerful console. It has a lot of really cool games. Didn't I play? There was this one. I don't own any PlayStation consoles myself, other than the PS1 Classic. But I have like owned the PS1 along with the rest of my family. Then my brothers got the PS2 each and stuff like that. While I followed Nintendo with the GameCube and everything, so it's kind of hard to talk much about these consoles here. But the Nintendo Switch is beloved. It's definitely become one of my favorites. It has a lot of games that a Nintendo fan like me do enjoy playing. So I think it's definitely one of the most beloved consoles I've ever played. So Xbox, yeah, and this is the same as this one. I guess this is S, this is X, and I just haven't played either of those. The Atari, it's kind of obscure, but I mean it's a classic for all the people who grew up with this. Of course it is, but I just haven't played enough of it. So here's the original Xbox 360. And I just can't tell much difference between these two versions, so it goes into the same place as the previous one here. So the original Game Boy, this huge brick of a handheld system. It's great. It's actually more nostalgic than, well, of course, it's noteworthy at least. But I think the Game Boy Pocket, which was the one that I had, was more memorable, and also the Game Boy Color I think was more memorable. Okay, so this is maybe the first obscure system I've played. So a friend of mine had the Sega Game Gear, and I've played it quite a bit when I was way younger than I am right now. It's like 20 years ago at least. But it's so weird. I've never heard about this uh, before he got it, and I got to try it at his house. But I rarely ever heard about it after either. Like it took maybe no, maybe not 15 years, but at least another 10 years because before I even heard someone talking about Sega Game Gear, which is weird because I had like ever since 2010 almost I've been watching like gaming YouTube gaming videos on YouTube like this, like top tens of everything, like gamers who rank stuff. I love ranking things, as you probably understand. I've been watching videos like that with the topic of video games for like well over a decade right now, but the Game Gear just rarely ever came up. So this to me, I haven't played it, so I can't say anything about it really. Is it a Vita, like a revised Vita, or is it a PSP? I'm not sure. I can see it from here, but it could look like it says both PSP or Vita in some ways. But this is the actual Vita, I guess. And it's so strange because it sounds like it's a really, really great system, but just didn't get enough support from the creators. It sounded like that based on what I've heard, but I just haven't played it much myself. which is a shame because I do believe it's a really great system, but apparently just people, not enough people make great games for it, I guess. So I think this is the Sega Saturn. Never played. PS5, I really haven't played it at all. I felt the controller, it feels really nice. I talked about that in a previous video, but I don't think I've ever played any games for it, to be honest. Well, I have tried it in some way, some game, but I just haven't played enough of it. PS1 is a beloved console to me. Like, I love playing Gran Turismo, Spyro the Dragon, which is one of my favorite platformers of all time. Crash Bandicoot is a great game, or at least I played the second one on the PS1. Tekken, of course, my favorite fighting franchise, especially when you look like from a traditional fighter series. Tekken is my favorite. Just to explain why I wouldn't say Super Smash Brothers as my favorite, because I think that's my like number one fighting game, but it's so different from the traditional fighters, like these arcade fighters, so to speak, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter. Tekken is my favorite, and it belongs on the PlayStation console to me. The Nintendo GameCube, I also find beloved. I think I've never, like, when I look back in my life, there has never been a console I like wanted more than the Nintendo GameCube. Like every commercial for the GameCube for different games, even things that reminded me of different games. I mean, I remember this grocery store here in Norway used "I'm Walking on Sunshine," the song, and just because I heard that song on TV, it reminded me of Super Mario Sunshine, and I just started wishing I had the console and that game. It took quite a while before I got it, but man, I love that console. It's super beloved. I got it with the Zelda Collector's Edition, which I thought was awesome. I mean, Super Smash Bros. Melee was great. Luigi's Mansion, Super Mario Sunshine. Um, I really, really enjoyed playing the GameCube, and it had at least decent third-party support. I did play Need for Speed Underground 2 on it. I bought a 007 Nightfire on it, even though I played it on PS2 back in the day. I really wanted it for myself, so I bought a used one many years later on eBay. Also, Star Wars Bounty Hunter was a great game. I really enjoyed it on the GameCube. Not exclusive, of course, but still a really great game. A beloved console for sure. The NES is, nostalgic. It's difficult actually, but at least I do enjoy it maybe more than the Game Boy. It's memorable. Whoops. Nope, not that one. Definitely memorable. I never owned an NES myself. Other friends of mine had an NES, but I did enjoy many of those games. But it's kind of more difficult to go back to those games than it is with the SNES. Like A Link to the Past is one of my favorite games, and like when it comes to video games, it's one of my favorite memories from back in the day. Super Mario World is probably, I think, the first video game I ever played. So there's a lot of memories on that console, and I of course really enjoy it. I have the SNES Mini. I also have the NES Mini, but the SNES one is like when you see what games that one has to offer compared to the NES, there's a lot more to enjoy in the SNES, I think. So this is obscure. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this one. I really wanted one. I saw like these different competitions you could enter through comic magazines and stuff, and I really wanted to win one, but I never did. But I don't think I've ever played this one. I have played this PS1 version, but never have I played with the actual screen here. So Xbox One. I have played some Xbox One, and it's noteworthy, I think. Just haven't played enough for me to rank it any higher. I think. The Virtual Boy I have tried a little bit. Um, I don't think, you know, I should play a lot. Like, there's more to do on an Xbox Series S and X, and a lot of these different ones. Maybe not Atari, perhaps, but really haven't played Atari. I think maybe I did at a museum once, but yeah, the same museum I played the Virtual Boy. But I feel like if I played like one game of Virtual Boy, I'd have played like I've gotten like most out of the experience that is accessible on it. So I think it's really an obscure piece of hardware. And then there's the Xbox One X, I think. It's no different from Xbox One for me. I just, yeah, can't say much about it. But the funny thing is that the N64 is actually my favorite console, my most favorite console of all time. It's kind of weird, and looking back, I do understand, like, objectively why people might not look as. I mean, even especially for people who haven't played it back in the day, they might not understand what was so special about it. But at the time, it was, of course, amazing in so many ways with Super Mario 64. It had a lot of important games, Ocarina of Time, 007, GoldenEye. Like, it making. This was the console that made four player multiplayer the new standard, which Nintendo has held on to ever since. And I think it's amazing, and it has a, like, in some way or another, they've managed to put great four-player mini games, no, four-player multiplayer games onto like almost every game. You have a platformer like DK64 and Conker's Bad Fur Day. It also had like four-player multiplayer. Super Smash Brothers was born on it. Mario Kart 64 was amazing. GoldenEye, of course, did so much to pave the way for console shooters, and it's still fun today. I played with three other friends on the Nintendo Switch Online, and it's still super fun if you just get around the controls, which of course feels really weird nowadays now that you're used to two sticks, but it's still an amazing time. And I think one of the most underrated things. I mean, there's a lot of nostalgic music, of course, on this system. Like Ocarina of Time has a lot of great music, but I've kind of played the N64 enough now in the newer times that the nostalgia is gone. Like from those, from my younger days when I was young, growing up with this console. A lot of the music on N64 is actually pretty amazing. I mean, there are limitations because the cartridges don't have as much space on it like the PS1 discs and everything. But I mean, a lot of the music it sounds so great in my opinion, anyway. Like Mario Kart 64 actually has a lot of great music, not that just nostalgic, like nostalgia wise, but in general, I think it has a lot of great songs. Like Toad's Turnpike sounds amazing. The sound effects, especially in Mario Kart 64, is great. When you get hit by a red shell, it kind of explodes. It's amazing. The credits music is super amazing. As I mentioned, Ocarina of Time has a lot of great music. Mario 64, of course. Um, GoldenEye has a lot of great music. Like Rareware made a ton of great music through Banjo-Kazooie, DK64. F-Zero X has a lot of amazing music. It's really underrated, I think, in some ways. I do understand objectively that not everyone can play this today and find the console that great, but with me growing up with it and actually still enjoying a lot of the games, like going back to the games are no problem for me. The N64 is my very favorite. So, just to remind you, I'm neither right or wrong here. This is very subjective. This is just one guy's personal opinion. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy this, and if you have a comment about anything, just let me know in comments, of course. So, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon again.